today's episode, we're going to be talking all about what customer excellence is. Um, Now, this is different to customer services, so stick around to find out basically exactly how they're different. You may be thinking, great, I know what customer services is. That's easy, but if you don't, obviously go back to episode 2 and have a listen, so then we can build on that knowledge. So, what on earth is customer excellence? Let me explain. So, customer excellence is all about being proactive. You must be thinking ahead, looking into the future to be the best you can be, basically. And to remind you, customer services is all about being reactive. So, with customer services, you react to the situation. Customer excellence, you're thinking about what's in the future. What can you do for the future? So, in order to be successful with your customers, you need both of these to ensure you are looking into the future and preventing anything which could occur and negatively impact your customers and even your business as a whole. So, I'm going to repeat this so it's super, super clear. Customer services is all about being reactive, and customer excellence is all about being proactive. If you remember that line, you've got it. So, there are many ways you can do this, and you may be thinking, what for? So, I will go into detail of how you could do this and why it's recommended to gain a competitive advantage. So, how will you implement customer excellence? All depends on the type of business you are running. But I have a few examples here that we can go through to help you think of your own. So, firstly, I would start with, how can you make your customers love your business? So, have a think about that. And if they already love you, what evidence do you have? Or is this just like make believe in your head? Is it recent evidence? And how can they love you even more? What could you do to make it even better? Here we are thinking about improving what your customer thinks about you. And what this does is increases positive word of mouth. But also, and very importantly, it means if something does go wrong, it's a lot easier to communicate this with customers who love you than a customer who's already irritated by the way that you are or work. You will also find that customers who love your brand will be a lot more forgiving if anything did occur, which is out of your control. This means that customers, whether, selling business to business or business to a consumer. Another example may be something more specific. For instance, have you checked if all of your buttons work on your website? It's all about being proactive. Now, when we're talking about the buttons, yes, I mean all of them. On your computer, have you checked on a mobile? Have you checked on a tablet? And if you don't have accessibility to do this, try asking a tester on places like Fiverr.com or even Upwork, which are both freelancing websites where you can get the help you need for pretty much cheap. Just check the person's review before committing, obviously, because these are all freelancers around the world and you really don't know who you're hiring. So make sure you ask lots of questions before paying someone. So have you tried yourself as if you were a customer and learned about what your customer goes through in order to gain support or purchase from you? This will give you a very good insight into, I suppose, what your customer goes through on a day-to-day, and also will show you what needs to be fixed before it potentially impacts your customer. Plus, when a customer asks you what to do in order to make a purchase, you will know exactly what buttons they need to press and where they need to go, making you look super knowledgeable, and you're not going, well, if you go to this page, there should be a button on that page where you can buy this. Like, you need to know your stuff. So customer excellence is all about putting things into place in order to make things run smoothly for your customer. This could even show as having frequently asked questions on your website, which are always up to date. Sounds simple, doesn't it? How can you make your customer's life easier? So this is obviously a question that you can ask yourself. If you can answer the questions without them having to waste time contacting you and waiting for a response, then do it and use that FAQ page for that. If you are stuck for where to start, I would lean on any feedback you have received in the past. Start here and look at how you can basically prevent another customer feeling the same way. It's good to ask yourself, how can I respond to my customers faster? How can I provide a better service? and putting things into place to streamline your processes and stop yourself reinventing the wheel each time a customer gets in touch, it just makes things smoother and easier going forward. So each time someone contacts you with a question, you update your FAQ page with the question and the answer. And then obviously it would then build itself over time. So think about, are your customers asking the same questions all the time? And if so, create that FAQ page and answer them all. Whenever a customer gets in touch, point them to the FAQ page and offer further assistance if they need it. This prevents you explaining yourself again and again, which is obviously a bonus, and also means your time can be better spent elsewhere, maybe making your service better or making your product better. And obviously, for your frustrated customers, do you have any example responses where you and your team could use and have them saved somewhere? So even if it's to buy you a bit of time to think about your proper response, it's really good to have some kind of example responses saved, ready to send to these people that just to buy you a little bit of time. So, for instance, thanks for getting in touch. We take feedback seriously, and we are going to look through this for you and get back to you as soon as possible. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated. You could use that exact line if you'd like. So, what this does is it tells the customer you have received their message and you are thinking of them right now. Don't leave them hanging because you don't know what to say, as from customer's perspective, you can feel like you are basically being ignored, or have they even received it? So these are, obviously if you've sent something to a company and you're thinking that, they're really annoying me and I've sent them this message and then they've just ignored me, or I've sent them this message and it's not got through to them, or has it got through to them? You don't want your customer thinking those things. So always put yourself into their shoes and think about how it would make you feel, no matter what the situation is. So, to wrap up, all in all, what can you do as preventative action to help your business and your customer? What could happen right now, which you would need to tackle, and how could you put things in place to prevent this or ease the impact on your customers and your business? So, have a little think and take the time to think, you know what, my contact page is really, really glitchy. I could do with fixing that. That's just an example, obviously. So if you've taken a step to better your service, write to me and we can have a look at your story in detail and maybe even give you some more ideas. Let's move on to question time. We've had a question sent in. So William Settle, thank you for sending in your message, asks, when will I know that my customers are super happy with my service? So what a great question, William. Thank you again for sending in the question. There are a few ways you can measure this. I would look at how many complaints you are receiving each month. I would survey my customers, but not too often. And I would be requesting feedback via an email after each sale as part of basically the thank you email. This way you can track whether you are getting better or not, or staying the same, and you can basically adapt your service then as you need to going along. Any changes made, obviously note down the date and see if your statistics improve since that change. And ideally, you want to know if what you're doing is actually working, whether it wasn't required or potentially it's now upsetting your customers. So I hope that helps, because obviously not all changes for improvements actually work. So take that in mind. Thanks for sending in your message, or your question. And obviously, if anyone else wants to send in a question, it's to the customer care channel at gmail.com, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So hopefully this episode has inspired you. That's it. If you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe or follow button on your favorite podcast app to make sure you don't miss out on our next episode. And be sure to please, please, please leave a review so I know what you think, and to help my podcast grow, to help others. So, with each episode, obviously, we learn more about our customers and how to manage them in all different types of situations. Questions and stories are welcome to my email address, the customer care channel at gmail.com, which I'll add into the show notes. And I'd love to answer your questions. Obviously, share funny stories and nightmare situations of what we'd do if that was us. So, please do send them in. It's so exciting to hear from you all. Now keep doing your thing and building a business you enjoy and love every day. Be sure to listen to the up and coming episodes to learn more. Share, rate, review, and follow our podcast so we can help others. And I hope you enjoy this week's episode. So cheers and speak to you next week. Bye.